I took 3 replays from every single rank in Rocket League and analyzed the offense to see what the most common mistakes were at each skill level. The replays were broken up into the 3 tiers of each rank. So 1 replay for Bronze 1, 1 replay for Bronze 2, 1 replay for Bronze 3, and so on. I looked at the offense of the losing team and gave them a score based on the number of mistakes they made. So basically, points are bad. The more points a rank has, the more mistakes they made. And at the end of this video, I'll answer the most important question in all of Rocket League. Which rank is actually the worst? Because yeah, technically it should be Bronze, but come on, let's just be real here. It's probably Plats. But look, this video is gonna give you the answer and scientifically test to see which rank is truly the worst and makes the most offensive mistakes. And yes, this video took way too much time to make, so please go down below and gently obliterate that like button, subscribe with notifications turned on, and you'll probably get at least a little bit better at Rocket League. Alright, let's get into the first rank and analyze Bronze. There's really not a good way to explain this rank, so I'll just show you this clip right here. For all levels of Bronze, it just comes down to not being comfortable with the game. You probably just started playing, everything feels weird, you never know where the ball is, and sometimes you just like to drive around and look at all the pretty colors. Point is, they do everything wrong, they're missing shots, they're not using boost, they're doing whatever this is. And at this rank, it's pretty hard to give any advice other than to just play the game more, because it's just complete chaos. And all of this transfers into their offense and leads to a lot of whiffs, lots of mechanical failures, and lots of slow gameplay. But one common problem I saw was using bad camera settings. A lot of players in Bronze were still using the default camera settings, which is just gonna make everything harder. So if you're still using the default settings and don't know which ones to choose, just use these on the screen. These are pretty standard and won't really limit you to how quickly you can get better. So all in all, the Bronze players finished with a total of 25 points. They did just about as bad as I expected, so yeah, let's move on to Silver. At this rank, there's a noticeable difference in the speed of players, but there's just as many mistakes as Bronze. And a lot of it is still just because you haven't played the game enough. And even though Silvers play faster, they're just as mechanically challenged as Bronze players. In other words, more speed equals more whiffs. And this is the most common problem I saw in every level of Silver. Because they're going faster, it's now easier for them to miss the ball. And they do it all the time. But let's not forget, this isn't the only mistake they make. Silver is also full of bad commits, bad positioning, mechanical failures, but whiffing shots was definitely the most common mistake I saw. And it's actually a pretty simple thing to fix. Just do some training packs, watch my videos, pretty simple stuff. So in total, the Silvers finished with 24 points, just barely beating out the Bronze. This is a pretty big step up from Bronze and Silver, and it's around the rank where players start to have some pretty decent control of their car. The Golds have definitely cut down on whiffs, I'll give them that, but it becomes very clear that they have horrible positioning on offense. Look, you've heard of shadow defending, but have you ever heard of shadow offense? I mean, look at this play. Like, this is so high IQ. Golds are literally the best players in the game. If you're a gold player or pretty much any rank below champ, you should watch this video to get better at rotations, because the positioning and rotations at this rank are absolutely awful, and it's probably the best thing you could do to get out of this rank. I also saw a lot of bad commits, which were just as bad as Silver and Bronze, honestly. And a lot of this comes from trying to help your teammates when they mess up, but if you come flying in trying to help your teammate, you'll probably lose the ball and end up getting scored on. It's better to just wait behind them instead of trying to fly in and help them. So all in all, the Golds ended up with 28 points, most of them coming from bad commits and bad positioning. So it's official, Gold is worse than Bronze and Silver, but now let's take a look at the gods of Rocket League. Platinums are probably the worst rank in Rocket League. They have the mechanics to be good players, but they make the absolute worst decisions and position themselves almost as badly as the Golds, just with better mechanics. If you're a Platinum, you need to stop thinking you're the best player in the world. This is only hurting your rank and stopping you from becoming a better player. There were so many times where I would see the Plats trying to air dribble, go for ceiling shots, or some fancy dribble, when all they needed was a well-placed, fast power shot. If you get really good at the fundamentals, they're way more useful on offense than doing ceiling shots or air dribbles. So go to a training pack and just spend some time working on fast power shots. Even like 10 minutes a day can have a pretty huge improvement on your offense. Another common mistake was slow gameplay. The Plats need to get comfortable using their boost a lot more. This will help speed up your gameplay, make faster decisions, and give you better positioning. You can use the drill from this video for a good way to practice this. I also saw that Platinums would trust their teammates way too much. You shouldn't trust your teammates until they've proven that they are trustworthy. Now, this doesn't mean calling them dog shit and being toxic. What it does mean is not putting your teammate in a bad spot by going for an air dribble that you know you're not going to score. And if they are in a bad spot, don't go up for a pass expecting them to clear it for you. You should go behind them in case they fail that clear. But remember, you are also a bad teammate. No, you're not an exception, so you also need to improve your own ability to be a good teammate. In total, the Mighty Plats finished with 25 points, so a little better than Golds, but still worse than Silver. So right off the bat, you can tell Diamonds have significantly better positioning than Platinums. The mechanical abilities between the two is actually pretty similar, but Diamonds just position themselves way better and make a lot smarter moves. The most common issue at this rank is mechanical failures that come from inaccurate shots, bad recoveries, failed ceiling shots, and going for risky plays. Diamonds love to go for the fancy shot over the consistent shot. And if you want to get out of Diamond, you need to start being a lot more consistent. That means going for the safe play that has a good chance of working rather than the air dribble, which has a very little chance of working. And this is something that we also saw in Platinum, but the difference with Diamond is that they actually have pretty good positioning and pretty good speed to get to champ, but they constantly go for risky moves and risky plays, which a lot of times don't work and they just end up on you getting scored on. So all in all, the Diamonds did a lot better than I expected, finishing with only 16 points. At this rank, everybody is a lot more consistent and a lot more hesitant to go for flashy shots. Gameplay actually slows down a little bit at this rank because players are choosing safer plays instead of the inconsistent flashy plays that Diamonds love to do. But this actually starts to work against them because a lot of the offensive mistakes I saw had to do with slower gameplay. I saw a lot of missed opportunities because the champs were too slow to shots and just weren't fast enough. To get out of champ, you need to keep increasing your speed in all aspects without sacrificing consistency. Which, yeah, it's a lot easier said than done, but that's just what you need to do if you want to get to high champ or grand champ. And another common mistake I saw was inconsistent shots at an angle. The champs were making smart choices and going for power shots instead of air dribbles, and they're actually pretty good at them. But if they need to hit a shot at an angle, that's where they really started to struggle. And a lot of this comes down to not being comfortable using air roll while hitting shots, which can make tighter angles a lot easier. So in total, the champs ended up as the best rank so far with only 14 points. Alright, now it starts to get really interesting because everything is fast and consistent. So it's almost like, what now? You know, what's left to learn? But this is where I think it really starts to get fun because each game requires a lot of focus and it becomes less about mechanics and more about who's the smarter player. So one of the common mistakes I saw was hitting the ball fast and hard all the time. And yes, doing that can get you to Grand Champ, but once you want to get past Grand Champ, you need to start thinking about if that hard power shot is really the smartest thing to do in that scenario. Lower Grand Champs struggle with this pretty often, and they'll just hit the ball as hard as possible, not realizing that they just gave the opponent a free possession. There were a lot of times where slowing it down to a dribble or a pass play would have been a much smarter decision. That way they keep possession and can try to score a goal. And this is the rank where you also realize that the game can get even faster, like insanely fast. This is where you start using speed flips, going up for shots with literally zero hesitation, and having perfectly smooth recoveries so you can do everything as fast and smoothly as possible. And this is super hard to get good at, but something I've been doing to help my own gameplay with this is to go into free play and just pre-jump for every shot and make sure to go for the ball with zero hesitation. It's also pretty helpful to watch pro players so you can see what that insane speed actually looks like. So in total, the Grand Champs finished with 13 points, with slow gameplay being the most common mistake. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to obliterate that like button, subscribe with notifications turned on, and I'll see you in the next video.
I suck booty at Rocket League, but I still play every day. I suck booty at Rocket League, but I still play every day. I suck booty at Rocket League, but I still play every day. I suck booty at Rocket League, but I still play every day.